Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. This is Victor from Shining 3D, and today this webinar will talk about those basic operation about our latest intraoral scanner, Aoralscan 3. So let's begin. So first, I will talk about the basic theory of our product. So we are going to use the triangulation measurement as our basic theory. So inside our scanner, there will be a light projector and a camera. And the light projector will generate the structured light, and those light will reflects on our teeth. Then those light will be captured by our camera. But because it's a single camera system, so those lights captured by the camera will form a virtual standard plane, and based on this plane, all the measured points 3D dimensional coordinate information can be calculated by the angles and the distance between the projector, camera, and the virtual plane. So this is how we scan our teeth and build those 3D models. So just the information that you guys may want to know. So next, this is the PC configuration. So before we are going to use the scanner, we need to prepare our environment. So inside this PC configuration, there are some important points you need to know. First, that we recommend to use the Intel CPU and Nevada graphic cards because all the software are tested under this condition. And for the memory, we suggest to use 16 gigabyte or higher, and the graphic cards we require is 2060 or higher. And usually, the better the graphic card is, and the faster speed you can scan. And more importantly, so for those I/O ports, you need to use the USB 3 ports because the scanner required some certain speed of transaction. So you need to use the USB 3. And for the operating system, and right now your customers receiving the software with the version of 3030. So this version is not fully tested in the Windows 11, but the beta version 3043 is fully tested in the Windows 11, and I think this version will be released soon. So just you guys may need to wait a little more time for the fully stable version of the Windows 11. And another important thing is that this is the flash drive that comes with your scanner. And just to remind you, this is not the dongle. For the intraoral scan 3, we do not need any dongle to operate it. It's just a normal flash drive that comes with your installer. So I'll just insert this one. Share my screen. Okay. So inside the flash, okay. 有一点延迟. Okay, inside this flash drive, we will have these three folders, three kinds of files. This is the installer, and this is the menu, and this is additional part. And inside this folder, it also have a part of the installation. So please remember, you need to copy all these three files, especially these two, to a folder on the desktop, and then run this installer. And please do not just copy only this one, only this installation. It will affect it will not have a complete installation. So just copy all of files in your flash drive and to the folder in the desktop. Please remember that. Okay. So this is all the So this is all the preparation we need to do before we are going to actually use the scanner. And next, we will, begin to show you how to use our scanner. So this is a workflow. And first, I will introduce the main interface of our software. And then next is the calibration and the settings. And finally is how to create an order. And as you can see, we have 3 different dentistry type. That means we have 3 different kinds of orders. First is restoration, another is the orthodontics, and the third is the check. I will go through each type one by one. And for the restoration, I will do 2 cases. One is in my mouth, and another I will scan for our implantation model. So let's go to the software. And because the network is not quite stable, I will turn off my video while I was scanning. So sorry, guys. So let's run the software. So this is the main interface for our software, and you can sign in at this right window. But if you do not have account, if you do not have account right now, you can click here to register. And as you can see, we will have 3 different kinds of the accounts. First is doctor, but usually the scanner is used by doctor, so most customers will register as the doctor. And also we have the lab and hospital account. So the difference between those 3 accounts is that the doctors scan the teeth, the patients, and send those scanned data to the lab account. And the lab account can download those data on our Shiny 3D Dental Cloud, but the doctors can't right now. But I heard that our R&D will change this. Both doctors and the lab account can download the model data. And for the hospital and the clinic account, it's more like a group that you can add the personal doctors as your members. So that's the difference. So when you finish all those information, you can click register, and it will give you an account. So let's back, just sign in. And in this interface, on the left is the order creation menu, and on the right, all the the local orders is displayed in this window. So it will store the order in locally, and you can also choose to send those orders to a target lab, and that all those orders will be stored on our Shiny 3D Dental Cloud. That is, a convenient way. And on this top right corner, this is the user profile. So in the user profile, it will contain some the contact information. And on the right, and there is connections. The connections means your doctor account that connect with a target lab. And if you want to add a new connection, you can just click new and type the account name, the lab name that you want to make a connection with, and the application will be sent to that lab. If the lab click the accept, that connection between you guys will be established. But please remember that only doctors account can send those requirements for the connection, not the lab account. Lab account cannot send the connection requests to the doctors. Only doctors can. So that's it. And the next is the calibration. So just simply click the calibration. And the calibration is very simple and easy. You just need to plug in the scanner to the calibrator and put them horizontally, and just click the star. and it will start calibration automatically. Usually this process will take 3 to 5 minutes, but yeah, you need to wait sometimes. And let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so a very popular question about those calibration is that how often should we do the calibration? So I recommend to doing the calibration before every demonstration, especially for moving for a long distance. So okay, does LS3 has 1 or 2 cameras? So LS3 only have 1 camera. So it has 1 projector and 1 camera. Okay, let me continue the question. So we recommend to doing the calibration before every demonstration, and especially for moving for a long distance, because we want to you guys to have the best and most accuracy result in the demonstration. But if the scanner is put in the hospital or clinic, that only doctors will carry these scanners room to room, and so at that situation, I think you can do the calibration like one every week or every 2 weeks. So it's not it doesn't require to you guys to do the calibration before every scan. Just for if you have to move out for a long distance, please do the calibration. Okay, let's go back to the software again. So so in this window, except you can do the calibration, you also can do the brightness adjustment. So here, so usually if you saw some abnormal scanning images, something like your gingiva is purple or more like some dark color is not red, so it means that you may need to do a brightness adjustment. But all the steps is same as the calibration. You just need to plug in the scanner and click start. It will done the brightness adjustment automatically for you. So yeah, it's very easy and simple. Okay, next is the settings. So in the settings, we have 4 different sections. First is the order settings. So this is some general settings, languages, and I think the software is already included most majority languages on the earth. And those are some general settings, and those is auto file naming rule, and you can adjust those rules by your need. And another important thing is that save format. So we can save our orders with different third-party format, for example, ExcelCAD, third-party. So this third-party order, that means 3-ship order and dental wings order. So you can choose anything you want. And next is scan settings. So I would suggest keep all those things default. And for this, scanner tip heating. So this heating is to prevent the fog that forms on your mirror at the scanner tip. So usually you just keep it low, but if you are in the very cold country, especially in the winter, I will suggest you to use the medium or high to heat quicker. Next is the pre-designed settings. So all those settings in the pre-designed settings are related to the health check report, which I will talk about later. So this is basically different options and sections that you can choose during the health check report. So yeah, we will go through this more detail in the check report, and then finally it's about section. So about section, there you can switch device type here. This software will support Aoralscan C and Aoralscan 2, but as I mentioned before, the official version of the software in the customer end is 3030. So it's not fully tested with Aoralscan 2, but as you can see, my version is 3043. That this is something like a beta version that is tested with Aoralscan 2. So you guys can use them. If you guys had Aoralscan 2, you can use this software very soon. So at the end of the software version, there is a option that called check for updates. So right now my version is the latest version, so you do not need to do download or something like that. But if there is other version available, you can update from here. And this is the device serial number. So this serial number is also in at the bottom of the scanner body. So these two should be seen, right? So, and then another thing is the authorization remaining days. Usually all the scanners that came out of our factory is unlimited. But in case you receive some scanners that has, that has limited days, you need to click here, apply for the authorization renewals. And then select unlimited here, and then click apply. And then we will review your application and approve the application. And finally, is device binding. So if you want to bind your device, you need to contact us, which is the dental support, and provide us your serial number, and we will bind this device for you. So this is pretty much everything about the settings. So next is we want to do the actual scan. Just click create order here. So in this interface on the left is some order informations, including your patient name, patient code, doctors, and all those informations can be adjusted by the doctor's needs. And here is the dentistry type I talked before. So we got 3 different types: restoration, orthodontics, and chairs. Each of them have different functions. So I will go through the details later. And notes is you can delete a pre-written notes like this. So just write some notes that you think the lab needed to know. Okay. So in these 2 selections, so basically the doctors will create an order as they need. So right now I will do the 4 crown order as an example to introduce all those functions, the basic functions that our software can provide. Okay, so let's go to the PPT again. Presentation. So this is the first case today. It's a restoration type, and it's a 4 crown case. Okay, so inside this, during the scanning, we will have different functions, and I will show you in the software. Go back to software again. So I will just select the upper jaw as the working jaw, and select the teeth as the 4 crown, and next is the anti. And right now this order is being created. Just click scan. So we go to the scan process. As you can see, there is 4 main steps on the top of the window. The order creation, and next is scan is what we are doing now. And then after scan, there will be a step called pre-design. And finally, it's send. You can send the order to the target lab. And on this, under this scan, there will be a different steps. First is the upper jaw, next is the lower jaw. Finally is total jaw, which is a bite scan. Right? And on this right corner, this icon indicates that the scanner tip is heated completely. But if the heating process is not complete, this icon will show in the middle and give you some percentage for the how long you should wait for the heating. And this is the connection between your scanner with your laptop, and this moment is in the sleeping mode. And here's the record of how many frames you have scanned. So we have the limitation of the 3,000 frames for one jaw, because but if you are doing the scan, usually it will not take more than 1,000 frames, and the with more frames it does not come with more accuracy result, but on the contrast, sometimes you scan with more frames, it will affect your result. So just keep in mind. Usually we will scan around 1,000, most time under 1,000. Next is the time recorder, to record how long you have scanned. And in this right section is it's editing tool. It will enable after you after you finish the scan. And on this section on the right down corner, it will include some different functions that I will go through one by one later. And before we scan for before we do the intraoral scan, there's one important thing is that we need to turn on this intraoral function. When you turn on this intraoral function, as you can see, the AI function will be also turned on. So what does this AI function do? So let's go back to the PowerPoint again. So this AI function will automatically detect teeth and the gingiva around it, and it will not process other data like your tongue. So if you are trying to do the intraoral scan, you need to turn on this function to make your scan much more easier. It will ignore those data that you may not do, that is not necessary to use. So just remember, turn on this intraoral option when you do the intraoral scan, and this function will also increase the brightness for the for the scanner, because usually it's darker in the patient's mouth. So, but since the AI function will only detect the real teeth and the gingiva, so it will not collect data from physical model. So please remember that do not use AI function when you try to scan a model, and I will also do the demonstration later and then show you when you open what will happen if you enable the AI function during scanning for the physical model. So let's go back to the screen share again. Okay, so right now I'm turning on my intraoral, and the AI function is on, and I will do the test scan. Okay, so I just scanned half of my jaw, up jaw, and I will talk about those functions at this corner. So first is texture. Texture means that if you want color or not for your model. If you disable this texture, as you can see, you will only get those gray models. It will scan only for the shape, but not the not the color. So most time we will enable this one, texture. And next is the tooth color. So this tooth color, as you can see, when you enable this tooth color like this, there are some dark gray area. So for this area, that means the scanner has collected some data, but it does not collect enough the data. So it would be a very good guide when the doctors or the customers use our scanner for some first times. So they may need to turn on this tooth color function as a guide to scan the teeth or something like model. So, but today I'm doing the screen sharing. I will turn off this tooth color to enable to ensure the best the experience. So next is the AI optimizations that I talked before, and this is the view log. So when I'm doing the test scan before, you can see the model will like turn over as I move the scanner. But if you choose the view log, so this model will not move again. It will fix in this view. And finally is metal tooth scan. So usually we can scan some metal tools if you do not enable this function. But if you find that it's very hard to scan some metal teeth, just enable this function and try again. So I will finish let me finish this scan first. So I just finished my aperture scan, and I will introduce those editing function here. So first is it's basically you can remove the data that you do not want, just like this. It's more like a brush. So delete those data that is not necessary. Okay. And next is the remove isolated data. If you find some isolated data, you can just click this. It will remove all those isolated data. And this HD function is called refine area, that it will enable when you go to next step. For if I will show you when it will enable the when you go to next step and go back to the up draw, because it needed to do some post processing before you enable this function. And this is a path log. Path log means that you can lock other you can lock these areas. So this blue area means that this data is locked, and if we do the editing scan, those data around this in this blue area will not be added, because as I mentioned before, not more frames does not mean more accurate. And it will, on contrast, it will affect your accuracy. So if you, or I want to do editing scan, for example, to fix this hole, I may need to lock other part. So just click OK. It will turn to green, and I will do the editing scan. So only this area we will have some more data, but not those green areas. And just click finish. So right now it's going to the lower jaw scan, and if we go back to the upper jaw, as you can see, this HT function is enabled. So what does this HT function do? So usually, after we scan, the software will do the post processing, and during this post processing procedure, it will compress our data. So if you are trying to have the best quality, and you do not want to compress your data for some certain working teeth, you can just click this refine area and select one teeth, for example this one, and so all data in this area that will not be compressed. It will remain the original data. So that's it. Okay, so next I will go to the lower jaw scan. So the lower jaw scan is finished, and oh, okay. So I will talk about the so all the functions is same as before, and for this undercut function, that means you can check undercut during this step. So it's quite useful when the doctor is doing the tooth preparation. If they find that they have some undercut area, so the red area indicates the deeper undercut, they can redo the preparation and so save the time for both the patient and the doctors. So just click exit. So right now all the top upper jaw and the lower jaw is finished. The scan is finished. Next we can go to the total jaw scan and just click finish. Beside the click finish to enter the next step, you can also use the motion control here. So there is a button on the top of the scanner body, and you just need to click it twice. There will be a window showed in the middle, and then just move the scanner tip. The scanner to the right. It will go to the next step. And first is, so as you can see, there will be three options at the bottom of the window. It will require you to scan the three different bytes, but we recommend to just scan 2 bytes, left and right, not the middle one. And also, for the byte scan, it's usually only requires to 3 to 6 teeth. It's very. So I will show you how. So after by scan, so when all the scanning is finished, just click finish here, and it will do the final post processing. It will optimize my upper jaw and the lower jaw and those byte scans. So it will take 2 to 3 minutes. So let's go back to the PowerPoint to see if you guys have any questions. Okay, present. Okay, do you guys have any questions related to this case and or related to our functions? Okay, so let's go back to the software again. Okay, just finish the post-processing. So as you can see, this is my teeth after post-processing. So it looks way better during the scan. And here are some functions at this pre-design step. The first is that this is a model list. You can see or hide those models, and you can also adjust the transparency for some certain part like this. And the next is the coordinate adjustment. Just click here. You can adjust the coordinate. So this step is mainly for the bite adjustment. It will make the image more easy to see. And the next is the mark teeth, and it's 23, right? So I will mark my 23 teeth. So it will help the lab to know which teeth they need to work on. Okay. Next is the bite adjustment. So you can try to open. So this colorful area indicates the bite, and you can adjust the deep of this bite by adjusting these numbers. So I will just keep it default. Okay, so. And here's the margin line function. Because I'm not doing the real case, my teeth is not prepared, so I may not able to draw the margin line here. But if the doctors are doing the real case, they can draw the margin line for the prepared teeth. But also, you can also do this step in some design software, but our software also offers this function. So next is again, same thing, the undercut. It will show the undercut area like this. Okay, so the final function during this step is called AQ design. So what is AQ design? Let's go back to point again. So the AQ design is kind of a bridge between our scanner and the printer. And the data that scanned from our scanner needed to be done some process before it becomes printer ready data. So this is what AQ design do, and I will show you how to use this AQ design. Go back to the. Okay, this is the AQ design. So just click OK. It will import my model I just scanned. So this is my teeth without texture, and we can add those teeth at this at this stage. For example, I can remove the unnecessary data again. So you can use those tools underneath and click OK. So just click the next step, and it will give you the option to adjust the model height. You can just drag this plane like this, up or down, and choose the model type. Do you want a hollow or solid? I'll choose solid here, and click the next step. And as you can see, it will generate the base for you. So like this. Actually, right now this teeth is ready for the print, but we can add some attachment. For example, text. Just type something you want put on the model like this, and you can adjust the text height or text size. And beside text, you can also add a frame, something like an articulator, but we only provide those default options. You may not to choose any customized frame. So like this, and just click next. It will take some time to do the processing also. So let me check if you have any questions. Specifically refer to the. What are the technical? Filling holes after scanning will fill with black, or it will filling hole with the matched color, like the color around the holes. So what the specifications for the PC? It's the same thing that for the graphic card, it should be RTX 2060 or higher. For the memory, should be should be more than the 16 gigabyte. So that's the same thing. Let's go back to the. So right now it's finished. The post processing for those model is finished. As you can see, it's a printer ready model. And if you also install the AccuWare, that is data preparation software for our AccuFab printers, you can click just print. Yeah, it will open the AccuWare automatically for you. But today we are just talk about the LS3. I will not go that deep, so I will just click this return. One thing I want to mention is that this data that export from the AccuDesign is only have the BED format, which is the Shining 3D encrypted format, which means the data that comes out of the AccuDesign, you cannot use this model to some third-party printers, especially for those third-party slicing software. You can only use the AccuWare that's designed for our AccuFab printers. So if you want to, use a third-party printer, you need to use the other designing software to make some adjustment for the, for the model you just scan. So that's it. I add one of our labs to SFC, but they are not coming in the set. A different function that can be chosen for our lab to able to accept the scans. So, so this question, I will answer this question when I talk about the dental cloud. So actually, you need to transfer your file format. There's a list that you can choose in the dental cloud, and after the transformation, you can download the STL file. So I will remember your question and answer later. Okay, so this is the first case about the fulcrum, and if you do not have any more questions, I will go to the next case, which is the implantation model. Okay. Let's go to the PowerPoint again. Next is also the restoration type, but it's an implant model. There are some different when we try to create an order. So I will open the video and show what models we are going to use. So this is the implantation model I'm going to use for today's webinar. So just like this. Okay, turn off the video again. So as you can see, we need to create different orders and choose implantation. And then during the scan, we have I think that two more steps. One is hole digging, and another is scan the body. And yeah, let's go to the scan. So first is create a new order and make sure you choose the restoration type. And the second is the two selection is 25 is the custom abutment, 27 and 26 is Platonic, and also you need to choose anti. That's it. That is how you create the order for my model. So just click scan. So as I mentioned before, when you try to scan for these physical models, you need to turn off the intraoral, because if you turn on this function, it will not collect any data. So let me scan. Okay. So I will show you if I turn on this AI function, what will happen. So if I turn on this AI optimization, enable it, and do the scanning again, as you can see, the screen will freeze and it will not collect any data. So please just remember, turn off the AI function when you're going to scan for the physical model. So I will finish my scan here. Just got some. So since it's a test version, it's still not very stable. We got some bugs. Okay. So just click finish. Okay. Next is the hole digging. I just mentioned it before. So the hole digging is that you need to delete data around this implantation location. Select and double click, and for this is also double click. So why we need to do this step? Why we need to do the hole digging? Go back to the again. So the reason why we need to do the hole digging is that our gingiva is flexible. So this shape will change when we try to insert, when we try to insert those scanner bodies. When I try to insert scanner, which will cause a line fail. So please remember that the gingiva is soft and flexible. That's why we want to delete the data around this implantation location to ensure the successful alignment for those data. So I just install the scanner bodies for one. And why? The reason also we will choose to scan the scanner bodies one by one for these two reasons. First, some and clinic may have only just one scanner body, so they have to do it one by one. But another important thing is that if the scanner bodies has interface with each other. So right now this is more like a parallel scanner bodies like this. And you can install these two scanner bodies at the same time and scan at the same time. But if the scanner bodies have some angles like this, I'm not sure if you can see it like this, they have interface with each other. So at this time, you have to do it one by one, right? Okay, again, I will turn off my video. It shows my network is not quite stable here. So go back to the software again. So after we finish the hole digging, we will just click the finish. And all those existing data will be logged, and the same thing, it will be marked with green color. So first, scan the body. We need to scan. Okay, down the first. Okay, guess we need to do some later scan for this one. Okay. Also, before we try to scan for the next scan bodies, we need to delete this data, right? For the same reason, make sure that there's no data in this hole, and click OK. And next is the lower jaw scan. It's pretty much the same thing as before. You just need to scan for it. Then delete some unnecessary data. For example, this is my finger. Delete those. It will make our post-processing easier. Click OK, and finish. So also the final step is the bed scan again. Just 2 bed scans. Next, on the other side. Okay. So these 2 bed scans are finished. Just click finish. Again, it will do the post-processing. And during this time, I will check the check-in room to see if you guys have any questions related to this case. Okay. And why the color during scanning sometimes were quite a bit, because the light is so when you do the scanning, the scanner tip has different angles, and the light those structural light comes from our projector will have different shadows. So these shadows in different pace will cause those cause the color varies. So that's it. How do you turn the scan sound on wells when scanning? The scanning sound is automatically on. That da 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 sound. Do you have a rep scanner or should I not scan on? Do you have a rapid scan function on? Overruns does not scan or pick up the models as fast as it does. So we do not have something like the rapid scans. Just what I did is just same as you guys. It's a normal scan. So Aoralscan does not scan or pick up models as fast as you does. I think it's more like related to your PC configuration. Our scanners came without sound. So I will check with your scanner later. I think this sound should be turned on automatically. Okay. Sure. Okay, let's go back to the software again. The post processing is done. Let me hide the button. So after the post processing, you can see these 2 scanner bodies very clear. You can see the texture on it. So, do you have any questions about this case? Let's see. yeah, for the auto filling, it will use the similar color that's around the horse. Okay, if you have not, you guys have no more questions, I will go through the next case, which is orthodontics. So in this orthodontics type, the first you need to scan scan the patient's first you need to do the intraoral scan, and I already scanned for the for the orthodontics case because all the scanning is almost the same, and but the difference is that during the uh, pre-design step, it will have an extra function called orthodontic examination. So it will give you more like before and after pictures, and it will also give you an animation about the tooth setup. But just remember and this result of tooth setup is for reference only. That means it do not provide any medical purpose. So the purpose of this simulation is to help our doctors to communicate with their patients. Usually, when the doctor is trying to talk with the patients or try to convince with the patients, sometimes a picture will be more clear than their words, right? So this is the design purpose of our this function, the orthodontic simulation. So let's go to the software to check what it looks like. So to the home again. So you need to create a new order with the orthodontics, but I already scanned for it. I will just skip the scanning step and just directly into the screen sharing from your end. It shows my network is not stable. 可以吗？没有回复。OK 啊。Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys see how to enter this also simulation page, but I will just finish the talk about this function and demonstrate again. So first is the tooth segment. Basically, it will automatically mark each tooth, and like this for the mark numbers for each tooth, and the next is modeling. So it will model my teeth, do the 3D modeling. It will, it will not display any texture because it will be more complex with the texture during the calculation. So next is the tooth setup. The tooth setup means the tooth alignment. It will take some time, but not quite long. See? So this is on the left, this is my tooth before the setup. And on the right, this is my tooth after the setup. And if you, you can also do the animation. Just click animation and click play. It will display how how the how you go through from before to the after. So it's quite clear for the patients. Let me see it again. Okay. Just click return. And if you want to export those things, you can just click export. So we will have those pictures. You can download those pictures to your to your local file and videos also. But more importantly, it will generate a QR code. So you can scan for this QR code on your some the camera function from an iPhone that you can directly scan for the QR code. It will give you a website that include those pictures and videos. You can try it right now. I will leave the QR code here for some time. So, in my opinion, this QR code function is very convenient. The the patient can just use their phones to scan the QR code and get simulation result. Right now, we do not have the save option to save this QR code. It will require the patient or the doctors just take a photo for the screen. It's the same way to save those QR code. So that's it. So this is the function of the also simulation. And let me check if you have any questions related to it. What is the what is the best PC configuration to have most? So the So my colleague will answer the question for you. He will type something. It will be more clear. So do you have any questions related to the orthodontic simulation function? If not, I will go through our the final function that is called health check report. So basically, this health check report that is used for when the patient to visit their doctors for the first time, and the doctors cannot. And the also simulation, yeah, you can use it right now. It's already available in the 30 official released version. Clear. Okay, for this health check report that is used for for the patients that visited their doctors for the first time, and usually during this time the doctors cannot decide which dentistry type they need to use. Is it restoration or is it orthodontics? So they will try to use this check function. It will do do the scan as before, and more importantly, it will have the function called health report. In this report, you can take some screenshot and take some notes. So it will generate a health report that also can be shared with your patient. Okay, so let's go back to the screen sharing again. So finish. Okay, and since all the scanning is the same for the health check report, you just need to choose the check here for dentistry type. Choose the check. So I will also use the pre-scanned case to save the time. Yes. So you can see this dentistry type is checked, and go to the pre-design step directly. So at the health checker report is on this end, on the right section. Just click this health report, And you can choose your target if it is adult or child. So for child, we will have a special version of the report. It will have some more colorful clouds, trees like that. It will. But for adult, it's just a normal report, right? Click OK and delete those. So the main purpose of this function is take a screenshot. So we have two ways to take screenshot. First is endoscope screenshot. That we can use our intraoral scanner as an intraoral camera. I will demonstrate. Just click this one and take our scanner. And you can then you can take a screenshot at this window, and you can choose different type of the teeth and take some notes. Yes. And all those, those options can be. Okay, so all those options can be adjustment here. Pre-designed settings. You can choose different options, and it will have some sub option. So you can adjust the health report in these pre-designed settings. So except use our scanner to take the screenshot, we can also take a screenshot directly on the, our models. Just select the area you want to take a screenshot and double click. And we just second. So this is how you add the screenshot for different method. So when the doctors finish taking those screenshots, they can click this preview. It is the preview health report. So on the top, it will include your basic informations and give you an overview and with different views of your teeth. And for these detailed sections, it will give the screenshot you just taken, the doctor has just taken, and the note will be under here. And same thing, if you have multiple sections, the details will be added to it. And it is same with the orthodontic simulation. It can be shared with the QR code. So this is the QR code for the health report. So yeah, the patients can use the cameras again to scan the QR code, and it will give you a website for your health report. If you guys want to try, you can scan those QR code again. So yeah, this is the very the design of this function is very similar. The design purpose of this function is very similar to the orthodontic simulation, because both of them is try to make the more convenient communication between the doctors and the patient. So yeah, that's it. So, beside those sharing, you can also download the health report as I think it's a PNG graphic image files. Report. It's here. So it will generate the health report locally. So that's it. That is for the health check report. Back. Okay. Let me see if you guys have any question. So, and then I will talk about If you guys do not have a question about this check report, I will go to the the Dental Cloud wing, Chinese 3D Dental Cloud to answer the questions about how to download your STL file as the lab account. So I will need to log in the Dental Cloud. Okay, I have logged in. Then I will share the screen. So this is our Chinese 3D Dental Cloud page. On the left, this is the dashboard that indicates how many cases you have received each day, and those is cases you have received from the from doctors. So here's the how you download the STL file. You just click this download here, and I mean this is already transferred. So I will choose this one. So you can click this other format and select the if STL and confirm it. And you can just close this pop-up window and click download again. Okay. Just click the refresh. Okay. So it's already have the STL. So I just use the other format if the OBJ, something like that. Confirm as an example because there is no OBJ here. To click a refresh. So this will be for the other format. Just click download here. So this is how you download different format of your orders. Okay. So again, this is a connection between the labs and the. So since this is a lab account, all those connection is the doctors, and as I mentioned before, only doctors can send the connection request to the labs, but labs cannot send those requests to the doctors. And those members functions that used for the hospital account that you can add those personal doctors as your members. It's more like a group things. Okay, this is my administration account. So I will not show this for you. So yeah, that is pretty much everything about Dental Cloud. Okay, do you have any questions? I'm not sure if you can have you can get alerts aside from checking it. On the left, if you want, you can send messages like this. Messages to the doctors, but I'm not sure if the doctors will get aligned for this message. If not, I will discuss with the R&D to see if we can add these functions so that it's very good advice that we need to remind our doctors that there is a new message from the from the lab. Okay. Now is the FAQ time and Q&A time. You can ask me any questions related to our Chinese 3D product. Yes, For the ultrasound side, would the scanners be accepted for the invasion case? I'm sorry, the answer is no. Does the LS3 has a movement manual? Yes. So in order to, I will just open my video. So in order to enable the movement manual you just mentioned, you need to double click this button. It will pop up the movement menu, and if it will have four different directions. Like if you want to go to next, you may need to move the scanners like this. So it's not the same as the Aoralscan 2. The Aoralscan 2, the way to to pop up the movement menu is like load these scanner tips like this, right? But for the Aoralscan 3, you just need to click this button for twice. Okay, so for the scanning for the complete dentures. So for this for denture scan, the difficulty is that the gingiva is moving, right? The gingiva, we do not have those teeth to fix our gingivas. So during the scan, the gingiva is moving and it's flexible. So this is the difficult points when we try to align different data. So if you are trying to scan for the complete the dentures or the four dentures case, you need to find a way to fix the gingiva. For example, in China, the doctors use something like a hook to fix the gingiva, so they can this is the way to scan for the four dentures. In the presentation, you said also Dentistry teeth movement was just for rest, but if I want to make the whole process, can I trust it? I suggest not. If you are going to do the the real case for the orthodontics, you need to use some professional designing software. Could you export STL ready to print with the base for other printer, not only for AccuFab? I'm sorry, the answer is no. So the models that are ready to print should be processed by our AccuDesign, but those data processed by AccuDesign will only have BB format. That means it's only recognized by our AccuWare. Do you have an example for that? For the yeah, we will make some videos about those. I get a lot of requests about the four denture scan, and we will make some videos in the future to show how to do this case. Yeah, we will give a separate training video, talk about the more details about the four denture scan later. Sorry, could you repeat about the orthodontic movement made by the Elsa? So is it trustable for the real case? So for real case, you need to you need to do the orthodontics movement that made by some professional professional designing software, not the the orthodontic simulations that build in the LS3 software. So it's just, as I mentioned before, it's just it's just a reference, only help the communication between the doctors and the doctors and doctors and patients. But if you are, could you export the STL ready to print? So if you are trying to use a third-party printer, you can just export the scan the data, and use use the other design software such as ExoCAD to do the design and make the base, and that data will be the STL file.
Thanks, Connie.
So if you guys do not have any more questions, and thanks for attending the webinar, and hope I don't want to wait a second.